A black vulture pair has returned to the Florida backyard to mate and raise a new family. This has probably been going on for decades, but I just noticed it about 5 years ago. This is the first year that we can get a rare behind-the-scenes look at the life of breeding black vultures. Black vultures are fascinating birds and largely misunderstood by the public and understudied by scientists. Black vultures mate for life, but will remate with another if one member of the pair dies. Black vultures have a discreet and reclusive family life, and there is not a lot of information about the family life or breeding biology of the black vulture. Black vultures' nests, eggs, and chicks are well known, but most of the information comes from a relatively small number of nesting sites. Black vultures don't build nests. They deposit their eggs on the ground under cover in a hollow tree trunk or cave, or beneath palmetto thickets such as in the forest behind Backyard South. Black vultures perch for long periods in close proximity to potential nest sites, as early as 4 to 6 weeks before egg laying to determine if the site is free from disturbance. In many areas, safe nest sites are limited, and pairs typically return to sites where they have previously been successful. Because of surrounding habitat loss, the area behind the backyard is perfect for black vulture nesting. A few tall longleaf pine trees provide perfect roosting areas, about 50 to 60 feet off the ground, with dense saw palmetto and scrubby oak trees below, nearly impenetrable to humans. It turns out where I put my cameras is one of the few relatively open areas where several well-used animal trails cross, with nearby dark dense caves produced by falling leaves of the small saw palmetto trees. The black vultures are huge birds that need an area large enough for takeoff and landing, and then walk to and from to their secretive nest sites that could be some distance away. With so many potential hidden nest sites, the vultures are careful to not attract attention, so it's pretty rare when one can find a nest site, and I wouldn't want to go looking around for it anyway because they might be scared off. They are of course more exposed to predators on the ground. Primarily bobcats could eat the adults, and many other small mammals could attack the eggs, so the parents take turns incubating the eggs and guarding the chicks, rarely leaving them unattended. Other than man, probably the only animals the adults have to worry about are bobcats and coyotes, and I haven't seen any coyotes around here in a few years. The black vulture is a monomorphic species, which means there's really no difference in appearance between the males and the females. Mated black vulture pairs stay close together or in the same flock and in the general area during breeding season and outside of the breeding season. Perching together, roosting in close proximity, and flying together is often an indication that these two birds are part of a mated pair. The mating of black vultures is an event rarely seen in nature, but I have video of a different pair mating a few years ago. I'll link that in the description. Black vultures are sometimes called black buzzards or carrion crows. This clip shows how huge the black vulture is in comparison to a fish crow. Black vultures perform aerial displays during courtship. At such times, males circle females with their necks extended, exhale loudly, and chase and dive toward them. Pairs also engage in up-down displays in which perched individuals spread their wings and alternatively jump in the air while making a yapping sound. Black vultures typically lay 2 eggs, which are incubated for 32 to 45 days. Both males and females incubate during alternating 24-hour shifts. Adults sometimes position the eggs on top of their toes while incubating. After hatching, the young are brooded continually until 14 days of age. Thereafter, they are brooded intermittently until they're 24 days old. Parents regurgitate food to their young, and small nestlings receive liquefied food as often as 20 times a day. When the young are about 14 days old, they begin to receive solid food. As the young mature, parents gradually spend more time away from the nest and feed older nestlings 2 to 4 times a day. Juvenile black vultures fledge at 10 to 14 weeks of age, but remain dependent on their parents much longer. Adults sometimes provide food for their young as long as 8 months after fledging. Once they become independent, juveniles may continue to forage in social groups with their parents. Adults and juveniles often remain in close contact until the next breeding season, when parents change their offspring from the nest site. After leaving their parents, juveniles enter a wandering stage during which they drift between roosts and follow adults to food sources while learning how to search for carcasses on their own. Black vultures typically occur in open or partly forested habitats, often in close proximity to human settlements. Recently, they have expanded northward in the eastern United States. Presumably greater numbers of vultures existed historically when waste disposal, ranching, and farming practices were less regulated. The vulture is a highly gregarious species. Outside of the breeding season, they often gather by the hundreds at communal roosts. Traditional roost sites, some of which are used for decades, often are occupied year-round. Other roosts are used seasonally in response to food availability. Roosts are thought to play an important role in the social lives of black vultures, both as a place for juveniles and adult vultures to interact, and as sites for foraging groups to assemble. There is evidence that black vultures, which have no real sense of smell, find food by following turkey vultures, which have an amazing sense of smell, from their roosts to carcasses. Vultures have been heavily persecuted in the past, but are state and federally protected as a migratory bird. Therefore, it is unlawful to harm or kill them without a permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Both sexes are uniformly black. Adult and fully grown immature birds have a wingspan of about 5 feet and weigh about 4 to 5 pounds. In addition to their admirable dedication to family life, the black vultures perform a valuable service of cleaning up decaying dead animals and reducing stench and disease spread.